Jacko, Ishini, Jacko, Jacko, Nata Diaz. So I'm going to draw because, and I know I had promised I was going to paint this, but it hasn't quite dried yet. It's almost dry, but there's areas up there that haven't dried yet. So if I want to be super responsible, I shouldn't paint on this. I really shouldn't. The reason is quite simple, because paint hasn't dried yet, and if I start painting on top of it, if the paint layer that I'm working on is a second layer quicker for some reason than the one I'm almost like sealing underneath, and that one that's underneath keeps, you know, kind of moving while it dries, it'll make my upper layer crack. So I can't do it. I don't want to make dumb mistakes like that. I've already made plenty of those stupid mistakes, so I don't want to do that. So what I am going to do is I'm going to draw, because I haven't drawn one of these drawings where I put, I have an idea. I want to do like a nice color pencil drawing, and I'm going to put some white watercolor on the portrait. So I think that's going to look cool. Hopefully that'll look cool. So, Giuseppe Celli, ciao, ciao. So hopefully that'll look good. So we'll see. I want to make like a nice kind of one of those tight drawings that I usually do. Oof, but I haven't really warmed up like properly. So maybe, ¿qué hubo, Alejandra? So maybe it all goes to hell, but ¿qué hubo, David? ¿Qué papel está usando? Estoy usando se me fue el nombre. Es aquí colombiano. Fue pucha vida, ¿cómo se llama este papel? Es como un reciclado que hacen así, viene a altos gramajes. Ahorita me acuerdo, cuando comience a cuando comience a dibujar, yo creo que me voy a acordar. Bueno, vamos a ver. Un momento. Sorry about that. So, yeah, I'm going to use a toned paper. This is like a recycled paper that you can get. Okay, come on, focus. That you could get here in Bogotá. It's called, ya me acordé. It's called Earth Pact. Earth Pact se llama. Muy bueno, Earth Pact. Está muy popular en las bitacoritas que se pueden mandar a hacer acá. Yo me voy a mandar a hacer uno de estos, pero más grueso para pintar encima. So, it's a toned paper. It seems like a recycled paper. So, I don't know about the acidity. I'm not really sure about those things. I'm not really overly concerned about it. So, what are my tools? So, I have a kneaded eraser. So, I'm going to use that. I have a stub of a color pencil that I'm still using. I don't know why. Me puedes contestar en inglés sin problema. ¿Listo, Alberto? ¿Todo bien? Pero no vi la pregunta, Alberto. Qué pena. So I'm using a little stub of a pencil, and I'm using another smaller kind of dark brown. So I'm using like a more reddish brown and a dark brown. They're both different brands, and that's totally fine. And I'm realizing that they're like, this one's dirty from oil. So give me a second and I'll clean it up. ¿Se consigue más grueso? Sí, acá sí. El gramaje, no sé hasta qué gramaje, pero sí se consigue mucho más grueso. Espérenme un segundo. So, back. No, it's just that I made like a stupid mistake today, and I put oil on top of everything. So, anyways, so let me start. I have an idea, and I think it's kind of cool. We'll see if I can. Whoa, what did you do to warm up? Just draw a lot more, and I want to do something tighter. So if my hand isn't really like loose, it'll seem like I'm drawing really tight. So I have to be very careful. So what am I using? So these two colors. I have one of these erasers, one of these kneaded ones, which I'm probably going to use just that. One of these pencil sharpeners. I hate to sharpen my pencils with a blade. That's the proper way to do it, but and I've done it a million times, and I hate it, and I use this because it's a great invention. It's a sharpener. And I'm gonna do my whites with this one. This is a Schminke watercolor, titanium white watercolor. So I think I'm gonna do this. Do you do commissions? Yeah, sure. But no horrible babies. I won't paint like an ugly baby. I'm kidding, by the way. Okay, so my idea is to do like, I'm going to draw my niece, and she has like curly, big ass curly hair. And I just want to do like a totem pole, and her face, I want to do really, really light, really white. I'm going to use a lot of that white. I'm probably going to overuse it, but I think it's going to look really cool. So, very lightly, because that's the thing with these drawings. If you want to be kind of precious about it, very, very lightly, I'm going to just, I know that's probably, I don't even know if you guys can see the marks I'm doing, but eventually you're going to be able to see it. And I'm not going to rush. I'm sorry, but this is one of those drawings that I'm going to take my time a little bit, hopefully. So if you guys want to see something happen really quickly, that's probably not going to happen. I know I can draw really quickly, and I can paint fairly quickly also, but not for this and not today. I think it's kind of cool if I could do something different today. So I want all of this shape to be here. And I'm doing like, that's when I take my time doing my drawings, I end up doing like a Barg, like a Charles Barg. Buenas noches, Harold. No, se jodió el internet. ¿Qué pasó? No sé. Like a Charles Barg thing where I'll just think of my sort of contour diagonals, like changes in planes, and then I'll go from big to small. I'll go from very broad to like small shapes. So I know that I'm constantly checking all my measurements, but I'm checking my measurements by just doing, like, taking decisions with my pencil. I'm not measuring this way like that and making marks. Eventually, I always tell people what you want is that your drawing mark to be the way you measure. You know, while you're drawing, you can measure, but you just have to be very, very conscious of that while you're drawing. So I already kind of established from like the top of my drawing and how far down I want to make it. And now I'm going to see if I can sort of place the head within that bigger shape. I know it's probably, I don't think you guys are seeing anything. So this is going to be super lame for like first 20 minutes. And then I promise like the drawing is slowly going to emerge. That's the hope I have. But you know, when you want to draw like more tight, a little more tightly, you have to understand that there's sort of speeds and there's moments to your drawing, and this is one where you probably have to slow down a little bit, and that's totally cool because you make well thought out decisions at first, so that you don't have to speculate so much, you know, while you're making more definitive decisions. So we'll see how this goes. So I'm sort of finding my skull here, and I think it's going to be fine. You know, I could have made it smaller so her hair looks huge, and that would have been super cool also. But I'll be fine with this one. I think so. Hello, Quartulian. I don't know. Love you. Streams don't stop. No, I'll never stop. Saludos desde Miami, saludos desde Bogotá, muchas gracias. So I'll do this. Let me see. I love her shirt. Her shirt is kind of like at an angle, and then it kind of goes off. Like if that's the axis, it's really cool because it's not. It's kind of symmetrical, but what interests me most about this pose is that it's not really, really quite symmetrical. I mean, the whole. She looks like the upper part of a totem pole or something like that, but she's not perfectly symmetrical. So. And the other thing was, if I was going to do her head smaller, that was going to be tough with these little pencils to try to render. So this is slightly larger. It's still a very small head, but I think I can make kind of bigger decisions here and not feel like, if one tiny, that if you put the tiniest bit of pressure in your mark, then the drawing is going to be off. Her mouth comes at an angle, and I know, if you guys have watched me do anything, you know that I love when things are not right. They're not quite right. So of course I'm going to do that. Like this side of her mouth just drops. And I'm saying this side of her mouth, and I don't think, can you guys barely see it? Yeah, you can kind of see. Se ve muy clarito. Sí, pero es que estoy dibujando muy, muy suave. Estoy dibujando muy, muy, muy suave inicialmente. Entonces, ese es el propósito de hoy. Como van a ver que eventualmente todo el dibujo se va a ir concretando. Pero al comienzo, dibujo muy, muy, muy suave. So, I'm sort of reiterating that I could do this. I could have been done by now if I wanted to just draw really quickly. But that's not what we're doing today. So I'm really, like I said at the beginning, I'm really taking my time and just kind of organically finding where things are placed. So I don't want to speculate a lot in the beginning. And that's also, it's also really interesting to give yourself the chance to draw that way. I am more of an expressive, I think, artist, and I do love reacting to what I'm doing, but I don't like to think that that's the only way I can approach, my work. So when I want to do something that's a little more precious, and perhaps I want it to be more precious because I want to investigate it a little bit more, and I want to, if my hand has been really heavy-handed throughout like the whole week, I'll try to do a drawing that is kind of pushing me to be a little more sensitive. So for example, I was pushing those, I was making the nose way off. Jesus, come on. So that's the whole point of going slow, that you can, the small decisions that I had made are easily sort of adjustable. So I'm finding the eyes, but I'm not going to commit very quickly. Hola Nicolás, este papel reciclado, ¿dónde lo consigues? No, yo lo conseguí, ese creo que se consigue súper fácil. Busqué Earth Pact. Está muy, muy popular porque lo he visto en resto de cosas y es bien económico. Y es bien, bien económico. Pero no, yo lo conseguí porque una estudiante mía estaba haciendo cuadernos como bitácoras para dibujar y me terminó encantando el papel. No sé qué tan bueno sea en términos como de acidez, o sea, qué tan rápido se degrade el papel, pero me está gustando muchísimo y tiene como un medio tono súper bonito, entonces me gusta trabajar por eso. So, very slowly, very, very slowly. Let's see. So I can see, I try to follow this sort of arc in the eyes so I don't get sort of lost. And I can see that there's correspondence of one side to the next. And even if they're not perfectly symmetrical, at least I can start contextualizing how different they are, or how slightly different. I mean, it could be a big difference or it could be slightly different, but I'm always referencing one side to the other, one side to the other. So this is a sort of drawing that goes very, very slowly at the beginning, and then it goes and then it starts kind of appearing, and you go like, whoa, where did that come from? And that's super cool. When that happens, it's like super cool. Okay, so that's better. But again, it's interesting seeing different artists approach drawing. I usually start with mapping out the main landmarks on the face. Yeah, I usually start from big to small, but if I find myself doing that too much, I'll also try to start with an eye, with a little eye, and see if I can hold my proportions from just starting with a small shape, and then from small to big, just to push myself, just to see if that's something that I can control. Again, my philosophy, and this is for absolutely anything I do, is never to feel overly comfortable with what I'm doing. It's just always to push myself so that I can understand what my weaknesses are, and I can, really sort of encounter them like head on and say, okay, I need to work on this, or this kicked my ass right now, and it's very humbling when you do that, because you think you're doing really, really well, you think you're kicking ass, and you've been drawing really well, and then you just a change of pace, or just change in intention, or it could be a very dumb kind of formal decision, like a technical thing, and you kind of see if you can control it. And many times it's like, whoa, I don't know how to draw this, or I don't know how to approach this. And I always try to convince myself that if we keep doing that, then we're eager to like learn all the time, every single time. It's just pushing ourselves. The minute we grow accustomed to ourselves, oh God, that's our bane. That's the end of everything, because then we start kind of justifying every decision we make, and we kind of start to lose judgment over what we do. So it's just a matter of kind of that's probably the personal part, but there's also a part where you just are constantly exercising your skills, and not just getting used to doing the same thing like the same way all the time. Hi from Australia. Wow, that's a crazy. No, this is a regular. I have water-soluble ones. There's somewhere around there. But I'm not, because if I want to do some white, if I want to do lay down some whites afterwards, I don't want the white to pick up the color. So let me see if we're good here. Again, I'm probably going to favor expression over likeness, because I think that's awesome, and some people find that it's a little too caricaturish. I think that's amazing. When I kind of look back, and this is killing me. This thing is moving all over the place. When I kind of look back and see and kind of see the stuff that I loved when I was growing up, and that made me want to be an artist, I realized that a lot of it is like fantasy illustration, or like cartoons, or toys, all the stuff that, it was just imagination kind of running wild. And I've never wanted to lose that when now a grown up, I've never ever wanted to lose that, because I think that side is just fun, and I don't find, art can be as benign for humanity as it can be, and it can be very complex, and it can be very sophisticated, but I don't give a crap. If it's not fun, I don't like it. If it's not cool, I'm not really that interested. For me, something has to be like super cool. So, Nico, don't get distracted, but Pink Floyd is on the way. What are you going to do about it? Any plans? Yeah, but there's no tickets. So there are no tickets left. So, and not Pink Floyd, just Roger Waters. So, so it always has to be interesting for me. That's kind of what I was going for. It always has to make me smile, kind of make me say, "Wow, that was cool." Doing that was kind of cool, and I enjoyed, this bit of this drawing, or just making this was really cool because of this dumb reason. If I find myself not being able to feel that while I'm drawing or while I'm painting, then it just wasn't worth it. It's kind of like the way I find, if I'm going to push myself and if I'm going to subject myself to maybe feeling horrible because a drawing doesn't come out or a painting doesn't come out, or like hours of working and maybe it's a horrible mess. If I'm going to subject myself to that, I could do that, but I can have fun while I'm doing it. So much rather do that than just this painful experience that you just have to like justify it by saying, well, this is what you have to go through because you're an artist, and it's all suffering, and it's so boring. I don't know. I find that so boring, and it's just like unnecessary suffering. Like, you can make it so cool for yourself. And the way I make things cool for me is just by, even this is just like a portrait, but I'm not going to do like crazy ass detail in her hair. That would be nuts. But I can just make this really cool shape, then this dark over here, a little bits of darks over here, and then it just comes to her face, and then it looks, I'm kind of thinking of like, Millet, that Victorian painter, kind of that portrait that he did of this girl with like, really curly blonde hair. So I'm kind of thinking of that painting, which is awesome. And we'll see. Or I'm thinking like my teacher, Steve Essel does fucking incredible hair. Just really, really crazy. But he'll stay for an hour, 2 hours doing, like strands of hair, and then using like a razor blade to scratch the surface of the paper so you get like those little highlights. And that's super cool, but I don't do that. Are you going to live stream the entire drawing? Yeah. That's my plan. So don't worry. I know it seems like it's going to take like forever, but I'm slowly advancing here. And eventually you're going to be like, whoa, that's kind of done. But I have to be very, very subtle. And that's the nice thing about colored pencil too, is just it's such a soft pencil that it kind of lends itself beautifully to making kind of these more subtle decisions. So, and this is a very, very, very slick paper. I mean, it's not like a Bristol, like a 4 or 5 ply Bristol, but it's a very nice paper regardless. Again, I don't know about the archival quality of it. It's probably not great, but who cares? Not me. When I sell it, I'll tell people that it's going to last forever. So, no, I'm not. I'm kidding. I don't lie to anyone when they buy my stuff. I'll tell them, that's a paper probably has a bunch of acid in it. Not acid in it, but it's highly acidic. So, like, the pH is not like neutral. So, I don't know if it's gonna last for a long time. But if you like it right now, you can have it. So, I don't know. I think that works for me. Are you using reference image? Yeah. If I'm not painting from life or drawing from life, I'll tell you guys. Usually, this would take a lot more time, and it would be really hard on the model. if we were working from life. And, if I was working exclusively from life, I don't know if I could do live streams like so often, just because it's either very expensive, and I don't know if you guys, I worked from life for a long time and it's very, very expensive, or you have to have like really cool people willing to pose for you constantly. But those people can't pose for you all the time. I mean, that's insane. That would be absolutely crazy if you make those people pose for you constantly. So, no. This is slowly working from a photograph, but the approach would be exactly the same: big to small, big areas. Just slowly kind of block something in, and don't try to commit like fully, like prematurely to something. So, and again, she's my niece, and I have painted and drawn her before, but I always kind of find something different, and I've seen her kind of grow. She's 14, she's going to be 15 this year, but I always kind of find something different in her that I can kind of use as my guideline for every new piece that I do with her or about her. So that's very cool. That's really, really nice that I can, even if it's the same person, the same model, the fact that we can find very, very different qualities in that person, and perhaps, it's not about making one of the drawings look, or all of the drawings look exactly like that person. It's perhaps about speaking about the wholeness of that person and how much they can express, depending on the day or the moment, or just a slight like change in the expression of their face just tells like a completely different story. So I'm always willing to see those things. So this is kind of coming along. It's slow, but I'm slowly getting there. Live model is great, not only because model itself, but all. Yeah. I mean, the decisions you make, your sensitivity when you're working from life. I mean, chances are that what you're doing is probably going to be a little less perfect, a little more imperfect, but your sensitivity, I think that working from life is where you learn about yourself, where you learn about your sensitivity most, like where you can actually kind of judge how you see and how you interpret, and because it's right there, and it's almost like you have to sort of clear a bunch of things that are distracting, and concentrate on the things that matter to you. So you have to identify the things that matter to you, and then kind of, it's almost like meditation, and then really, really concentrate on those things that are relevant to you. So that's, I've always said it. That was exclusively because that's the way I was taught to work. We were taught to draw and paint from life exclusively. So I did that for years, many, many, many years, and I think the lessons learned there are the lessons that you're going to keep through the rest of your life. Actually, like the things that you learn while working from life. Those, I've said it before, those are the things that instruct your future decisions. That's where all your judgments come from. So I always kind of beg people to never, ever, ever sort of forget about working from life. It would be a huge, huge loss. Don't eat paint. Love you. Thank you. If that was for me, don't worry about it. I won't eat paint. Damn, some colleagues, we were so criticizing. So this is slowly kind of shaping. It's taking some shape. So again, I don't want to rush. If I haven't rushed up to this point, there's no point in rushing. and rushing right now. So, and the other thing is I have to sharpen this damn pencil so much, but this one's almost gone. I have to see if I can get some of these, because Faber-Castell they never did send me anything, and neither has Skoda. Skoda no me han mandado ni un pincel, ni un correo, ni nada para decirme: Nicolás, increíble que estés pintando con nuestros pinceles, lo máximo, te adoramos, queremos que seas Mr. Skoda Suramérica, y yo salgo en vestido de baño con solo un Skoda tapándome y los promociono resto y me encantan los pinceles y digo que uno no puede ser un genio sin esos pinceles, que se lo debo todo en la vida a Skoda, y no me han mandado nada. Jue madre de vida aquí uno. Pero bueno, me va a tocar, como lo he hecho toda la vida, comprar mis cosas y ya. So, nobody's willing to send me stuff, so I can say how amazing the products are. So, fuck it. I'm going to be terribly critical of everything then. No, I'm not. So this is good. I want to see. I have the bigger shape, but that's like, that's like nothing. I want to see if I can get a little more of these shapes. It's so hard with like curly hair. You have to be very, very conscious of like the bigger waves, like the bigger shapes of the hair. And I think if you get those and then you move to smaller ones, that makes it a lot easier. So, but it's very hard. It's almost like identifying folds that are important in clothing with hair, and especially like big curly hair, because you don't really know which one. It's not like they're describing the skull that's underneath, right? So they're not. I mean, they're born from that structure of that skull, but then afterwards, it acquires like its own structure, like over here. So we have to be super selective of which ones we choose. So that's kind of cool. Let me see here. When you see me do this, I'll try to do it so you can kind of notice it. No hablo inglés, pero aquí me quedo. No, quédese porque yo hago pedacitos de español cada ratico, entonces. Curly hair is more it totally is. It can look so bad when you just concentrate on the curls. So when you see me do this, and I'm going to try to do it somewhere. So let's say when you see me do this, before I make stroke, I'm just trying to measure where my next, or where that stroke is supposed to be, or I'm trying to reference it to some other shape that I've already drawn. So that's the way I kind of go through my drawing, just constantly referencing one side to the other, or one shape to the other, or one measurement to the other, and I find that super helpful for me, at least. So that's good. I don't want to render everything here. I want my drawing to almost be a build-up to here. I think that's super nice in drawings, and it's a very effective way to saying, like, oh, this is where I find something interesting. So it's not being lazy. It's not about being lazy. But I just feel that sometimes if you render a moment of your drawing, it kind of tells that you're capable of rendering other moments of the drawing. So if you don't want to render those other moments, I think the people that, like the observer, can say, okay, well, he or she was capable of doing this. I'm sure that there's a reason for choosing not to render this other part. So I try to do a little bit and make it look cool, and then I'm very loose in other areas because they don't interest me as much, and I just don't find it like, I don't think it's a requirement to render everything. That's kind of a dumb thing to just think that you have to like scan the whole drawing and then finish everything up, because that's I I have a big problem with that. I usually feel that you learn nothing from yourself if you do that. If you sort of do this whole scan thing. Again, it could be just an exercise in observation and in control, and to see if you can render a lot of, let's say if you're doing a nude, if you can solve solidly like every single moment of the body. But I don't think that's kind of helpful, because you're not learning anything from yourself. You're not saying, wow, I love those legs. But if you do everything the same way, if you kind of scan the whole drawing and it's the same line weight, or you're rendering, in a painting, everything with the same kind of interest, then, how do you convey that there was something that interests you? It becomes very, very subtle. It becomes super, super subtle. And I guess that's fine, and I'm sure that there's a lot of people that feel comfortable that way, working that way. But I don't know. I feel it, just by being more direct, you can learn a lot more quickly about yourself. So I'm just looking for shapes of her hair. Do you consider how the lines lead? Yeah. Oh, constantly. I'm constantly composing also. I think that's something that we sort of, we inadvertently, we lose the responsibility that we have to just constantly be composing when we concentrate on other aspects of a drawing or a painting. And we have to do that. Even in this, which is very sort of monolithic, this is just a big shape and that's it. There is a sense of being responsible with what you're choosing and what you're picking to draw, and the gestures that you're kind of creating in this little page. I find that there's a ton of responsibility always, even just when making a sketch. You can make it have rhythm, and even if it's the most sort of mundane of like drawings, just a tiny little drawing, if you always kind of tell yourself that this is my responsibility always, like constantly in whatever I choose to do, then you won't notice it, but you'll see that you're kind of teaching yourself to sort of handle those variables constantly. And you're able to juggle those things all at the same time. But you have to push yourself. You have to tell yourself that that's something that you have to do all the time. Would you just explain this, something that I've figured out recently? Really great insight. I'm not sure what was the insight, but I'm glad. I'm super glad. And it's really cool that you say, Jamil, is it Jamil? That you say, like, I figured it out, because that's what you have to do. I could have said it 6 months ago to you, and maybe it wouldn't have made sense. But as soon as you figure it out, that's when things kind of make sense. So I'm just gonna block in just these little gestures, because I want to move up. I want to go back to the head. I just wanted to make sure that these are okay here, like the length of it is okay. I sort of had to cheat here because this kind of falls off to the side a little more, but I don't care. I'm just going to put it over there, kind of finish the drawing over there. Let me see, and this does that. And there's this little strand that goes down here, and this one does that, and that one kind of falls over here. So those are going to be my bigger shapes. Oh, there's like a big one over here. It's so tempting to just go for one curl and then the other curl and then the other curl. But then I feel like you're not really doing hair. You're just doing individual curls that are all piled into like one shape. And there's a bigness to hair that is very hard to understand. You don't see, millions of little strands of hair when you look at hair. In my case, you see tens of hairs. So, my head is great for that. When people say, oh, don't draw hairs like, like individual little bits of hair. With me, you could do that. Yeah, Just 4 little, bits of hair up top, and you're done. And you're golden. I look like a little chick, like a little chick that was, that the chicken left behind, and he just stranded off to like the lake, and he just went into the lake and realized that he was going to drown, and then came out really quickly, and just just kind of moved his head like just to get rid of the water. That's what my hair looks like. That's exactly what my hair looks like. So just imagine like a scared little chick, and just coming out of the water. That's me. That's the best way to describe my hairstyle. So these shapes are cool. I don't know where I was going with that. I kind of dragged that. So these shapes are cool. I feel that that's kind of cool. She has a jacket over here that I don't know if I want to. Maybe. Do I want to do the jacket or hint at the jacket? No, I don't think so. Maybe not. Maybe just barely hint at it. I don't want it to become like a thing. Then it comes down here and down here. And this is dark. So my hope was to make this kind of darkish, then this is really dark because that's part of her shirt over here. This is going to be just a drawing. Yeah, I'm just drawing. Any advice for avoiding RSI? What is RSI? I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. So my initial, tell me what RSI is, and I can see if we can avoid that. If it's receding hairline, maybe, but I've never cared, so I don't have advice for that either. But I think I can't make this super dark here, because then it'll take the attention off of her. So maybe I can have some contrast here, high contrast here, like not high contrast, but well, there's a little light in her neck that's super cool. So maybe I could pull that off. And then it kind of degrades to like a darker shape down here. And I think that that's going to be kind of cool. Hands and wrists, etc. Drawing paint. Oh, repetitive strain injury. Oh, man. I should show you what I have. Let me see if I can grab it, because that really helps me. Let me see. Just give me like 2 seconds. And where's that damn ball? I forget. Oh. So, I have, yeah, that's what I'm going to do, Deidre. I'm going to do a drawing, and then I'm going to do some white highlights on the face. So this, which looks like a terrible dildo, this TheraBand is super good. It's super. I can't show you. I would have to like do an exercise video, and I look stupid. But this is really good. This is super good. This gets rid of my sort of elbow pain, and I just have to wring it as if it was, I have to put my arms like super straight, and then I have to wring it. And that actually takes a lot of like, that takes a lot of strength to do that. This is like the middle, mid-strength thing. I don't know what you call that. You can get like one that's actually tougher to wring. Like I guess the rubber is more dense. But this is strong enough for me. And I also have balls. Yeah. Okay. I also have these, which kind of help. And this is like the middle one too. So I have to do that and do a bunch of these exercises. But that's about it. That's all I do. But this stuff really works. Really, really works. So I'm actually I'm an advocate of that TheraBand thing, because that really works. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to go back. I'm going to start kind of putting my shadows in, but it's going to be very, very subtle. Let's see. Uh, what's it called, the bar? Like TheraBand? TheraBand, is it? Yeah, I think TheraBand. So this is kind of late. It's kind of annoying to do this. Because you can't go super dark. If you go super dark, what was the point of like taking your time? It's kind of dumb. So you have to go slowly. But it looks very cool. Once you're done, it's like all that patience pays off. And I mean, come on, let's face it. It's not like crazy. It's not like you're spending fucking, weeks doing a drawing. Which like people in like ateliers, they can take weeks to do a drawing. To do an ugly drawing. Ha ha. No, I'm kidding. Nicholas, could you do a live stream of you painting gouache? Yeah, you know that I was going to do that today and I didn't do it. Which, is this way too dark? Let me see if this is too dark because I can actually handle this little pencil better. Oh, that's a bit darker. But yeah, maybe I could do this. Yeah, I was going to do one. I was going to do one tonight. And I actually thought about painting this particular image. But as you can tell, I didn't. But yeah, sure, we'll do one. But you know what? I'm just being super, super honest about my own ability. So if you see me, like if I'm working in gouache, I struggle a lot, and it would be so dumb for me to just make it seem like I don't, like I know what I'm doing. It really would. But I mean, if you guys want it, I can do it. That's totally cool, and we'll suffer through it like all of us together. I am not a proud person. No, what am I saying? I'm super proud. So I'd love to see it. Cool. We'll do that. Cuchilla. So let's see. I have to stick my head. I hate it when you guys have to see me stick my head in here. But it's just such a small drawing that if I don't get too close to it, I have no clue what I'm doing. And it's annoying because one kind of misstep, it's not like the drawing is ruined, but it's like, fuck me. I mean, you've been working for I don't know how it's been, like half an hour, just making all these like tiny little marks, and then suddenly, just because you're careless, you're like, oh God. So let me see. I can keep working with this one, but I have to do this, which is super annoying. Just sharpen it constantly. And this thing is not working. This is like a little piece of shit. It's not really working that well. Anyways. So if you can, I don't know if you can start to spot all those decisions that we made earlier kind of come to live. Is that to come to live? That sounds so gimmicky. That sounds horrible. But, they were all kind of guidelines so that I could feel a little more comfortable just going to these specifics. So I admire your details on mouth. It's my weakness. What Sargent said. That was Sargent. I'm not going to steal that. He said it. He's fucking amazing. So he gets all the credit for that. He said a portrait was a face where there was something wrong with the mouth. So yeah, they're difficult. Especially if you're trying to do like this really pretty mouth, but like mine. But I kind of combat those those feelings just by doing fucking ugly mouths. Just taking chances taking a lot of chances when I have to describe a mouth. So I don't feel like it's precious. I don't feel pressure. I just feel like, again, like I can have fun doing a stupid mouth because I can do anything I want with it. Sometimes, oh fuck me, stupid little pencil. Sometimes I think we handle those liberties like sort of in the wrong way, because they should feel so empowering. Just the liberty to do whatever we want with our drawing or with our painting. That is so awesome to have that chance to really, really push yourself and do it, and do whatever you want. But sometimes people are scared of that for some reason. Instead of like really, really embracing just the possibilities that you have. So it doesn't matter if the mouth comes out wrong. Like, it can come out wrong. It doesn't mean like the whole thing is ruined. I mean, it's kind of annoying if you think about it. It's kind of annoying if you kind of give that amount of power to a mouth to say like, well, there's something off with the mouth of my painting, then my painting is horrible. Like, fuck you, mouth. Like, no. Like, I'm sure you can make a painting look amazing, and it can have a mouth where there's something off about it. I'm changing my pencils because this one is slightly lighter, slightly lighter. But then at times I need to be a little bit bolder with what I'm doing, and I'm grabbing the other one. That's kind of cool. I mean, they're both sort of these earthy browns, so of course they're gonna feel fine together. Let's see. I can't go overboard with these little midtones here in the light, because the idea that I have, or that I initially had, was to make this really sort of make the face like cake. Like, it's almost like if you could cake the like makeup on, like white, like really, really white makeup, almost like very, what was that, like maybe 16th, 17th century. So if I go too dark, it's going to be a little pointless to then try to make all those whites work within those midtones. Hola volador, qué piso. Uy, qué mal trucos, güey. ¿Qué haces? ¿Seguiste con tu pintura? La de trucos no sigue con nada. Trucos no conoce el verbo seguir con algo. Trucos yo siempre le echo al agua. Usted llega y yo le echo al agua. So that's looking good, I think. I'm feeling comfortable with that. It's like a little midtone here that I want to get to. It's pretty subtle. She has like rosy cheeks that look amazing. And there's this slight kind of tone here also. It's very, very subtle too. It's really late here in Moscow. Wow, that's crazy. I gotta go. I want to go to Moscow. World Cup, again. I'm always going to throw that out there. We still have a month. You guys could still send me tickets. I always like to watch your work, this process, and listen to your insights. Thank you. Thanks, man. And, you know, you could listen to me all the time if you invite me to the World Cup. I can be there for as long as you want. So, well, not as long as you want. For like a month, you know. As soon as the World Cup ends, then I'll come back. But you'll have me for a month. And you won't have access to me when there's games. So a month, but, you know, if anyone's playing, you won't have my attention. But after that, my undivided attention. Then I'm all yours. So this is the slightly, not boring part, but it just takes a while. I have to be sort of careful with this shadow part of her nose, because there's light slightly coming from left to right, slightly, ever so slightly. So there's a shadow mass that's a little more evident on this side than it is on the other side, which is very cool. And when I look at the highlights on the nose, they're on that side, they're on her left. So I have to be careful about that too. Let's see. I'm watching on the morning bus to work, Perth, Australia. That is so fucking cool, man. That is so awesome. Isn't it crazy that we could be like, I mean, you're going to work on a bus and I'm here like with a lamp just drawing away and we're connected in some weird fucking way. That's incredible. That is so cool. Hope you have a good day, man. Or who are you? Or dude, girl, or I don't know. Or fortunately, I will be in wilderness for a month, then go to Florence Academy workshop. Busy summer. Holy shit. Why are you going to the wilderness for a month? What is that about? Or are you describing the Florence Academy as wilderness? Internet is amazing. Yeah, hell yeah. Eddie, ¿cómo estás, Eddie? Eddie Rodríguez. Eddie Rodríguez tiene que aceptar que tiene nombre de salsero de los 90s 100%. No hay nada que hacer. Es más, me atrevería a especular que Eddie Rodríguez ha cantado salsa en algún momento. Colorado, outward bound, 24 days. Wow, that's crazy. Have you ever done that, though? I'm sure you have. I don't know. Or maybe it's the first time. That would be nuts, but that's awesome. Hope everything goes well, man. Dude, I'm saying man. I don't even know if you guys are like chicks or dudes. Ya tú sabes, dice Eddie Rodríguez, claro. Obviamente. I'm a girl. See, there you go. But Nadine, actually Nadine, you're probably Nadine. Oh, crazy. First time. Man, that's so crazy. Well, I hope everything goes well. Hello, Selhima. Selhima. Let me get this nostril here. It's kind of cool if I get it. If it's like a nice clean nostril. Not clean as in fucking, like there's no boogers there. No, just like a clean little drawing stroke. Ah, shit, that one side, it's a little too dark, but... Hola, Nicolás, ¿qué moleskin es ese? No, no es una moleskin, es un papel que se consigue aquí en Bogotá, que me ha gustado mucho. Se llama Earth Pact. Y es muy bonito, es muy, muy bonito. No sé las especificaciones del papel todavía. Y he querido mirarlas por pura curiosidad. No, honestamente, no es porque me importe. O sea, si me doy cuenta que el papel es como súper ácido y que los trabajos no me van a durar mucho y bla, bla, bla.